Hey everyone, and welcome to Andy Robinson RC. Cheers for checking out the channel today. As always, it's much appreciated. Alright, okay, if you saw our previous video, one of our previous videos, we had a friend of mine, Lee Chorley. We had his Tamiya Hotshot Custom Vintage Racer on the channel. And in that video, you also saw this beauty, which is a 10th Technology Predator DTM touring car. So we're going to be having a look at this one today. It's cool actually because I don't seem to feature many touring cars or on-road cars on the channel. Mainly because I'm a big sort of buggy fan more than anything. But there are certain ones that you just got to show. And this is one of them. This is the Predator 10th Technology DTM car. So we're going to say goodbye to Jim, who's invading our visual space. So you can go back over here. Cheers for that. And yeah, so first we'll just do a quick pickup and I'll show you the car. Look at that. How cool is that? Lovely, absolutely lovely. Okay, it's got a rather nice protoform touring car body on. I mean, I know it's not, but it sort of reminds me a bit like a Skyline, a little bit. But yeah, Lee said he picked a few of these bodies up in like £8 at the time. I'm not sure if he got them from MB models. I can't remember what he said now, but you know, I mean, that is pretty cool. I love the paintwork on it. Also kind of matches Lee's Hotshot as well. But yeah, absolutely lovely. So, anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take the body shell off. We can show you inside. And we've lost the body clip. Right, we'll get that back in a minute. So we'll remove the body. And here we go. Now, Lee's built this for some touring car racing. He's going to do. Again, he wanted to use something a bit more on the vintage side, which I think is cool. I mean, let's face it, there's no other touring car that looks like the Predator DTM. Even buggy-wise as well, there's no buggy that looks like the 10th Technology Predator either. Yeah, so they're pretty amazing and cool looking things. Now, there are various sort of grades of this car. They did a few different models. Unless I'm wrong, which I could be, please let me know in the comments. I sort of remember the DTMs and the Predator touring cars first coming out about sort of the mid to late 90s, so sort of like 96, 97, 98, around that sort of time, because I remember a mate of mine, we used to race at my high school, and I'm not sure if I'd already left then, or I was in the last year or so, I can't quite remember. But I had this Yokomo YR4 Compact Lotus Elise, and it was fantastic. He was still, my mate was still running around his Tamiya TA01 or TA02. I mean, it was fully minted up, and he had a lot of money spent on it. In fact, I think it used to be the guy around the club, the teacher we had at the time, the physics teacher, Mr. Blakely. It was his car. Anyway, my mate had bought it off him because he'd swapped over to a Schumacher SST. Anyway, and I got this Yokomo YR4 Compact, and at the time, and I mean, that was all, you know, I'm not going to be professed to be an amazing driver or anything, especially at like the age of, I don't know, 15 at the time. I only raced at my high school club, but it felt like an absolute weapon. It was awesome, and I remember wiping the floor with everyone the first couple of races I had with it when I was taking it there. It was brilliant, and then I don't think my friend was overly impressed at the time, so he went out and bought another car, and the week or so later he'd bought a 10th Technology Predator, but his version was the Streetwise, which from memory that is the basic one. So instead of having like graphite and carbon, it was pretty much all plastics. The shocks were plastic on it. I seem to remember being red coloured, where you see on here you've got the blue alloy. on my mate's Streetwise Predator. It was like red plastic, but still, it was still a cool car. I mean, it was much more sophisticated than my YR4 Compact or the Tamiyas. Completely different design, but yeah, I think the Tenth Technology cars were a bit fragile in places. Maybe less so on the touring cars and the buggies, but still, I think they had a bit of a rep for being fragile. But they were very cool. All this inboard suspension and cantilever suspension, like you get on the similar to what's on F1 cars. You know, completely different at the time. No one else was doing it. So as I said, this is the Predator DTM. My mate had the Streetwise, which is the basic version, and I have to pull this out. Now, I tried to do a bit of research on the DTM Predators, and I must admit I didn't find lots of info. So I'll have to apologise if I seem a bit vague. But say if anyone has more info, please let me know in the comments. That'd be much appreciated. Right. So as I said, this is a DTM. They did a DTM I. I'm not sure what the difference is. They did the Super Touring, the T1, and there was the Streetwise, which I've already mentioned, which is the basic spec car. Now, I do know that the T1 had upright rear suspension, so it had a shock tower. It would come up here, and then the shocks were mounted upright like you can get on a conventional touring car or rally car or buggy. Now, there was talk at the time that they were going to produce a rally car. I don't think it ever got released as a proper build, but I think there's probably a couple of prototypes maybe knocking around somewhere, but the rally car was also going to have this upright rear suspension like the T1 touring car did. But yeah, so as I said, I don't know too much about them. I did have, I've never had a DTM Predator. I did have the buggy once, and it was a bit of a beater, to be honest, but I got it. I've still got a picture of it somewhere. I don't think I ever had it running, but it was so cool. It had a carbon fibre chassis, carbon fibre prop. This has got a carbon fibre prop in it. It looked the business, but I never had it running. I can't even remember what happened to that, to be honest. So I had one briefly in my clutches, but yeah. And now, I'm not sure what the going rate is for a DTM, but the Predator buggies fetch unbelievable amounts of money, and even coming across the spares is not overly easy. They crop up now and again, but it's quite dear. But for parts and things, but they're just so cool. So anyway, so you've got here, we'll do that so you can see it a bit more. This is running again a Trackstar 13.5 brushless motor, and a dual sky ESC by the looks of it, with expert steering servo. So it's got some nice quality radio gear in there. Futaba receiver, 2.4 gig. Again, this is going to run very nicely knowing Lee. I don't think he's used it yet either. We haven't had any opportunities to just yet. We're only starting to get that racing. As I said, it's got the alloy out drives on the prop. It's got carbon prop shaft, and now it's been sealed with glue because it was, I think, to stop it from fraying. Just needs a bit of sanding down, but it's done that. And then you've got the alloy shocks and the sort of rockers on the suspension in carbon fibre, and the tower at the back there is all in carbon. So, I mean, of course it's got no battery, and this will take a LiPo, and it'll take the more conventional 7.2 stick packs, but it's not very heavy at all. So yeah, I'll say you can see the front carbon shock tower as well, just behind the gear, the gearbox cover at the front and the body posts. Show you underneath as well. But yeah, fantastic. Universal drive shafts all round as well. Love the wishbones. They're so like F1 styled. It's great. And so there was nothing like this around at all. And I think in the right hands, these were absolutely lethal on track. They were so good around the track. But again, it was just a bit fragile, unfortunately. But yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. So again, you know, a massive thanks to Lee for bringing down the DTM Predator and his hot shot for me to take a look at and show you guys. That was really good of him, so I appreciate that much. Hopefully I'll get to see this going around at some point. Can't wait to see that. And if we make it up to some of the on-road tracks or on-road racing, who knows, might be able to get a video of this going around, and of course Lee's hot shot. But yeah, so massive thanks there. Also as well, before I forget as well, the channel is now over 800 subscribers, so I'm really pleased with that. That's fantastic. So thank you for everyone's continued support, supporting the channel, leaving comments. It really is appreciated. So hopefully we'll continue to grow the channel as well. So massive thanks to everyone who supports us. Good stuff. Right, I'm going to leave it there for this one. Thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for checking this video out. I hope you've liked the cars we've showed you. And again, I know I've already said it, but a massive thanks to Lee for bringing these across for me to film for you guys. Okay, so take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon. And if you haven't already, again, please do consider subscribing to the channel and hitting the like button and the notification bell. All right, take care, and we'll see you very soon. Look after yourselves. Bye.